water. It was like everything went black. But you know what? We're back. And sometimes it feels like that with your brain, right? Where you just kind of go offline for a little bit,
100%.
right?
Yeah.
But
Yep.
your brain is so powerful, so amazing. It can bring yourself back. How it recovers and heals itself is absolutely amazing. It is the most amazing thing in the entire universe on top of your shoulders. And let's take care of it, right? Because your brain matters. So it's time for us to go into the cortex case studies.
That's right.
Yep,
And I am going to share with you about a client that I worked with
let's
for
go.
quite a long time. So this goes back a long ways, but this was a client who was in the NBA. And he had some of the most amazing physical
Mm.
skills, and his physical prominence, which was much more dramatic than myself.
Oh, absolutely. At five
Uh,
foot two,
uh,
5'3".
Me
Yeah.
and a 7-footer. So
Yeah.
amazing human being, a wonderful person.
Mm,
But
absolutely.
when we were brought together, he was having some really major concerns in his profession. So things like on the court, being unable to recall what the coach had just said to him.
Mhm.
And so really being labeled as an ADHD. And then at that point, he was remembering back to the fact that when he was very, very young, like 3, 4 years old in preschool, was also labeled as ADHD and received all the course of conventional treatment for that. So going through various medications and various behavioral things to try to make him fit with the rest of the people around him. Really difficult thing for him growing up, and super stressful. So, anyway, I'm just trying to paint a little
Yeah,
backdrop.
I mean, this was a kind of poster child as a child for ADHD,
Right,
worst of the
exactly. The
worst.
worst of the worst. And then he comes out and becomes this really good basketball player
Right.
in middle school, high school, college,
Yes.
and then goes into the NBA. So just this amazing story of success. But then all of a sudden now he was bumping up against the same things that
Yeah.
had troubled him in way earlier years. So we got brought together. We did an assessment, which you guys, we talk to all the
Yes.
time.
Mhm.
Get an assessment. We looked at his brain. Okay, the things that he would come in saying would be things like anxious, distractible, impulsive, um, and just a lot of difficulty with relational things. Um, and guys, after what we've just been talking about, where do we think he was on the spectrum, the continuum?
Yes.
Of course, sympathetic, right? So he trained with us doing the breathing and the brain work. He was one of the best trainers I've ever worked with. His devotion, his
Mhm.
consistency, his hard work, and he began to experience changes really quickly because of how hard he was working. So things like his sleep improved, his focus improved. He definitely felt the anxiety level go down, way less impulsivity. I'm talking this guy would go into a Lego store and like buy half of the store because he wanted all of that immediately, blah, blah, blah. But he became more regulated in his ability to make decisions, which was better for him financially and just better for him all around. Um, and professionally, he began to excel
Big
on the
time.
court. Ridiculous double doubles. Um, was voted for the All Stars
He
that
made the
year.
all that year he made
Made
the
the All Star
all-star team,
team.
which was incredible. He'd gone from, his coach wondering should he be in summer league
Yes.
to in
Yes.
just a few months, and we ended up his improvement was so much that ESPN reached out and they did a special
Right.
on him and me talking about the brain and ADHD misdiagnosis
Yes.
and how when we treat it correctly, it changes everything.
Yeah. So I had the joy of watching all of this, and I'm only the person who helps him do the training. He's the one who's doing the training. He's the one who's bringing the change into his brain and into his body. And I'm just a bystander watching all these good things
Right.
happen for
Yeah.
him, which was super successful and really, really fun. Well, at the same time, he was dating someone who I, of course, would run into. And she was a really great girl. But this person, the way that he used to be, was very difficult to relate to. But she recognized in him, like, he's a good guy. And, like,
Right.
I would really like to be in a relationship with him, but it's, like, very difficult when this and this and this happens. And it all had to do with this sympathetic, the brain getting stuck and
Right.
stuff. So she started talking to me about how much different he was and relationally. And long story short, they were married. They have a lovely family now. But he said in a video that he did with us that he really enjoyed all the successes professionally that the training brought to him. But he said at the end of the day, the best thing was that I became a better husband.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, and so it mattered the most to him that his relationship life was, improved and was rescued, really, and he also, outside of that, just began to make better decisions with the healthier people that he was allowing himself to be around, and, with his own children, being able to understand them more in response to the way he grew up. He could see how they might have the same experiences as he did, but he wanted them to understand things differently the way he understood them now. So, big, big change for this person and just a real success story when you consider how many people then he goes on to impact.
Right. Right. And it's, the world sees it kind of outside. Here's this professional athlete, all-star, big contracts, all these things that happen. But for him to kind of see, hey, when it all boils down, it's back to relationships,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
You know, that's all just kind of bells and whistles, but underneath the surface, it's back to relationship. And the kind of emphasis of this entire episode is that your brain matters for relationships, right? And relationships are what change our lives. Relationships either make us sick or relationships make us strong and healthy. And the way that we can be one of those relational people that is making people stronger is by taking care of ourselves and our brain, because our brain truly does matter.
Absolutely. Doc, can you take us into the 2-minute drill?
Yeah, I think I might have just a little bit longer than 2 minutes, but let's do it.
Let's go.
So ding, 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 ding. Here we go. 2-minute drill. So what we like to do each week is give you something a little bit of something that you can work on. Now, ultimately, we want you to come in and get an assessment. We would love to have you come in so we could see everything that's going on, unpack, spend an hour with you after that and talk about here's all the things we can do to make your greatest asset, your brain, stronger. But this week's kind of motivation 2-minute drill is I want you to start to think about the fact that even on your worst day, your brain is the most amazing thing in the universe. It is truly. And stop and breathe a little bit and be appreciative of this absolutely amazing system that even on your worst day, it still keeps you at 98.6. I mean,
Mm.
it's absolutely amazing. It still turns oxygen into energy. It's amazing. It still retains memories. This thing is amazing. So this week for your 2-minute drill, I want you to just pause and think about how amazing your brain is. And then I want you to piggyback on that by what relationships are you thankful for? What relationships are you thankful for, and what can you do with your brain to make you one of those people that helps make people stronger by your brain being stronger?
Wow. Those are some good questions to ask right before the holidays when we're put into rooms with people that maybe we're excited to see, but also maybe people we're dreading seeing, or just those situations. Like, it's important to think about what you bring into that room
Yes.
versus thinking about what that other person's bringing into the room.
Yeah, like we talked about how in marriage it's two brains coming together, and think about these holiday gatherings and really go into these please taking care of your brain ahead of time, okay? You know, get some sleep,
Yes.
do some breathing exercises. Think about the things that you really are thankful for, okay, as you go into the season. We have so much to be thankful for, again, even on our worst day. But you got to take care of your brain, or when you go in, everything's going to be a trigger for you. Every
Yes.
single thing's going to send you into what? Sympathetic, which makes you anxious.
Yeah.
And then the secondary emotion from anxiety is anger, irritability. So whenever we're feeling angry, irritated, stop focusing just on the anger and the irritation, but say, what is it that I'm scared of? What is
Uh,
this situation doing that's making me nervous?
yes.
Okay, making
Yes.
me anxious
Yeah.
or stressed.
Yeah, because that's the fright, flight, fight mechanism. And sometimes we arrive at the party and we're already running
Yeah.
from a lion. And so that's just never going to end well. So just taking the time to take a few deep breaths before you walk into the room so you bring your best self in there.
Yes. Your brain matters. When we appreciate the miracle of the brain, we grow and our relationships grow with us.
Let's grow.
Let's grow.